A small diner, a big problem. Just off the highway, nestled between a rundown gas station and an old auto repair shop, Mason's Diner was the kind of place that had seen better days. The neon sign flickered at night, the red leather booths had cracks from years of use, and the menu hadn't changed in a decade. But the coffee was strong, and for the regulars, it was home. For Emma Carter, it was more than just a job. It was her daily grind, her routine, and a place where she found some stability in life. For 3 years, she had worked at Mason's Diner, showing up for early morning shifts, staying late to clean up after closing, and making sure customers left with full stomachs and a warm goodbye. But through it all, she had learned an important lesson. Not all customers were treated the same. If you walked in wearing an expensive suit and shiny shoes, the manager, Carl, would be at your table in seconds, greeting you with an eager smile and making sure you got the best service. But if you were a construction worker covered in dust, or a trucker in a faded t-shirt, you were lucky to even get a menu. Emma had seen it happen again and again. She hated it, but she kept quiet, because at Mason's, that's just how things worked. Until one night changed everything. One act of kindness changes everything. It was a slow Tuesday evening. The air smelled like grilled bacon and coffee, and the only sound was the hum of the kitchen radio. Emma was wiping down the counter when the bell above the door jingled. An older man stepped in. His jacket was worn at the elbows, his boots had seen better days, and the way he hesitated at the entrance told Emma he already knew what kind of welcome he'd get. She wasn't wrong. Lana, the senior waitress, glanced up from her phone, gave him a once-over, and went right back to scrolling. Jake, another server, barely acknowledged him before turning his back. Emma felt her jaw tighten. She had seen this scene play out too many times. The unspoken rule at Mason's was clear. Certain customers mattered, and others didn't. But tonight, she decided she wasn't going to let it slide. Taking a deep breath, she grabbed a menu and walked straight over. "Evening, sir," she said, her voice warm. "Just you tonight?" The man's tired eyes met hers, and something softened in his expression. Surprise, maybe even gratitude. "Yes, ma'am." "Great. Follow me." She led him to a booth by the window, poured him a fresh cup of coffee, and smiled. "Can I recommend something? The grilled salmon is fresh tonight." The man raised an eyebrow. "You sure about that? Promise you won't regret it." A small smile tugged at the corner of his lips. "All right then, salmon it is." As Emma walked back to the kitchen, she ignored the hushed whispers from Lana and Jake. "She's wasting her time," Lana muttered just loud enough for Emma to hear. Emma clenched her fists but kept walking. What she didn't know was that this one small act of kindness would change everything. Fired for doing the right thing. The next morning, Emma walked into the diner as usual. But something felt off. Lana and Jake stood by the counter, exchanging smirks. The air was heavy with unspoken words. Before she could even start her shift, Carl's voice cut through the silence. "Emma, in my office. Now." Her stomach sank. She followed him into the small office, cluttered with old receipts and stacks of paper. Carl didn't even sit down. He folded his arms and sighed. "We're letting you go." The words hit her like a slap. "What?" Carl rubbed his temples like she was a headache he wanted to get rid of. "It's just not working out." Emma let out a short, humorless laugh. "I've been here 3 years. Never missed a shift. Never been late." Carl didn't blink. "It's a decision we've made." "We." That meant Lana. That meant Jake. That meant the whole broken system in this place. Her throat tightened. "This is about last night, isn't it?" Carl didn't answer. He didn't need to. His silence was enough. Emma felt her pulse in her ears. "So I get fired for treating a customer like a human being?" Carl's fingers tapped impatiently on the desk. "You can pick up your final paycheck next week." That was it. No explanation. No warning. Just out. Emma took a shaky breath. She knew arguing was pointless. She untied her apron, set it on the chair, and walked out. Lana's smirk was waiting for her outside the office. "Tough luck," she said sweetly. Emma didn't give her the satisfaction of a response. She pushed through the diner doors into the cold morning air, sat in her car, and let the reality sink in. She had nothing. Then her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She ignored it. It buzzed again. With shaking hands, She picked up. Hello? A deep, steady voice came through the line. Emma, this is James Lawson, the man you served last night at Mason's diner. She frowned. How did you get my number? I have my ways. Emma sighed. If you're calling to apologize, don't bother. It is what it is. I'm not calling to apologize, James said. I'm calling to make you an offer. Her heart skipped a beat. An offer? Yes, he said. I own Mason's diner. And as of this morning, I fired Carl. Emma sat up straighter. You what? James's voice was calm. I need someone to run the diner the right way. Someone who understands respect. Someone like you. She could barely breathe. Less than 24 hours ago, she had walked out with nothing. Now, she was being offered the manager's position. Lana and Jake thought they had one. They were wrong. Emma gripped the phone tighter. I'll do it. The next morning, she walked back into Mason's diner, not as a waitress, but as the boss. And she wasn't coming to play nice. Lessons from the story. One kindness always comes back to you. Even when faced with injustice, doing the right thing will eventually lead to a positive outcome. Emma was fired for treating a customer with respect, but in the end, her kindness earned her a much greater opportunity. Fairness and respect are essential in any workplace. The old manager at Mason's diner judged customers by their appearance, while Emma treated everyone equally. This is what made her truly deserving of a leadership position. 3. Never be afraid to stand up for what's right. Many people choose to stay silent to avoid trouble, but Emma made a different choice. While it initially cost her job, it ultimately led to a life-changing promotion. For when one door closes, another one opens. Being fired seemed like a disaster, but it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Life always presents new opportunities for those who stay true to their values. Meaningful messages from this story. Doing the right thing isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. Kindness and fairness don't just make you a better person. They can change an entire community. Your job title doesn't define your worth. The way you treat others does. Opportunities often arise from the most unexpected situations. Always be ready to seize them. Personal perspective. Emma's story is truly inspiring. It shows that integrity and kindness have the power to change any situation. Bad people may win in the short term, but in the long run, it's always those with good hearts and strong values who come out on top. The key lesson here is to never let fear stop you from doing the right thing. If Emma had followed the diner's old ways, she would have remained just another waitress with no voice. But she chose to stand up for what was right, and that choice led her to something far greater. Do you believe in the power of kindness and fairness? Follow and subscribe to Story Precious to watch more inspiring stories like this. Hit the subscribe button now so you never miss a meaningful video. Share this story with your friends and family to spread positivity and kindness. Don't forget to hit like if you believe kindness can change the world. Story Precious, where meaningful stories are told and emotions touch the heart.